$110 billion. First half of 2026. That's the total headline deal value of China's pharma licensing out deals in 6 months. 81 deals. Announced potential transaction value, approximately $110 billion. Already 80% of the full year 2025 total. 4 years ago, China's share of global biotech licensing deal value was roughly 5%. By early 2026, it crossed 50%. Global top 10 licensing deals in 2026, China occupied 8 seats. Not 3, not 5. 8. Everyone sees the numbers. The question is what they mean. This isn't a cyclical rebound. A rebound goes back to where you were. This is different. Pricing power has moved. Terms have changed. The role has changed. This episode is about what happens when the buyer can't afford to walk away. Big Pharma has a $300 billion problem. Over the next 5 years, nearly 200 drugs lose patent protection. 69 of them generate over $1 billion each in annual sales. Cumulative revenue at risk, over $300 billion. Keytruda, $29.5 billion a year. Patent expiry, 2028. Merck's single largest revenue engine, no internal replacement at comparable scale. BMS, Opdivo plus Eliquis, $22 billion a year combined. Legacy product revenue already declined 15% in 2025. The decline is happening now, not projected. Pfizer, AstraZeneca, AbbVie, each facing multi-billion-dollar gaps across multiple franchises. Internal R&D cannot fill the holes in time. The math is brutal. A Phase 3 program takes 8 to 12 years and over $2 billion. The patent cliff gives you 5. You can't outspend the clock. You have to buy time. This is why the deal numbers look the way they do. Big Pharma isn't buying Chinese assets because they're cheap. They're buying because they have no choice. The patent cliff creates a deadline. Internal pipelines can't meet it. Chinese biotech spent 10 years building clinical assets while Western markets weren't watching. Those assets now sit exactly where the gap is. And it's not one buyer at the table. It's 3 or 4 for the same asset. That's what changed the terms. When Merck, BMS, and Pfizer all need the same mechanism, the seller stops being a price taker. The seller sets terms. Average upfront payment for Chinese licensing deals. $52 million in 2022. $172 million by early 2026. A 230% increase in 4 years. 3 years ago, the question was, will they buy? Now the question is, will you sell to me? When upfront payments quadruple, it's not generosity, it's competition for assets that have become essential. The terms tell the real story. Traditional license out. You hand over the asset, take upfront cash plus milestones plus royalties. After signature day, you watch from the outside. The buyer runs global development, you collect checks. The relationship is transactional. Hansoh Pharmaceuticals, June 2026. License HS20118, an oral IL-23 receptor antagonist to a new co called Avir. Upfront, $120 million. Milestones, $2.18 billion. Then the structure diverged. Hansoh invested via convertible notes into Avir's directed financing. Then Avir merged with NextCure, a Nasdaq-listed company. Result: Hansoh holds 30 to 40% of the merged entity, plus 2 board seats. This isn't selling a pipeline. This is planting an orchard overseas and owning the land. Hansoh isn't a vendor anymore. It's a major shareholder. 2 board seats mean Hansoh votes on the global development plan, votes on the commercial strategy, votes on who runs the company. The product succeeds. Hansoh collects royalties plus equity appreciation plus a U.S. capital markets platform. The coordinate system changed. Old model. One deal, one price. New model. One company, multiple value streams. Canona Biosciences went further. November 2024, licensed CM336, a BCMA, CD3 bispecific antibody, to a new co called Oro. Upfront, $16 million. Plus, roughly 15% equity. March 2026, Gilead acquired Oro for $2.175 billion. Full buyout, from $16 million upfront to roughly $250 million from the acquisition. over 15 times the initial payment in about 14 months. From license out to newco to MNC acquisition, a complete exit loop. The old model had no exit. You sold the asset and watched. The new model has an exit. You build the vehicle gets bought, you cash out. This is the structural change beneath the headline numbers. It's not just more deals, it's a different kind of deal. One that gives Chinese biotech something they never had before, a seat at the table after signing day. One more signal. HUO Pharma's deputy general manager described the tone change at U.S. conferences. 3 years ago, Chinese assets got polite, interesting, no NDA signed. This year, Big Pharma executives proactively deep diving into the data, some starting to learn Mandarin. When the buyer starts learning your language, pricing power has already moved. Now, the other side of the repricing. Hengrui Pharma. CARES 310 study. Camrelizumab plus rivatinib for first-line liver cancer. Median overall survival, 23.8 months. The best data globally for this indication. The CRLs focused on manufacturing and CMC issues, not the clinical efficacy data. 3 complete response letters, 3 rejections. All for the same category of problem. Current good manufacturing practice. First CRL. May 2024, 10 cGMP deficiencies at the Suzhou facility. Second CRL. March 2025, old deficiencies closed. 3 new ones emerged. CMC not adequately resolved. Third CRL. July 2026, new manufacturing site. FDA Form 483 observations. The same facility passed EU GMP inspection in 2025, cannot pass FDA. Different standards, different evidence requirements. FDA doesn't want proof that the product is good. It wants proof that the process is controlled. Every batch, every time. This isn't just a Hengrui problem. The FDA analyzed over 400 complete response letters. 98% involve manufacturing quality deficiencies. 58% involve site inspection issues. 47% involve product quality problems. Clinical data gets you to the door. GMP gets you through it. The next bottleneck in Chinese pharma's global expansion isn't molecule design. It's manufacturing compliance. The ability to prove, to a foreign regulator's standard, that your process is controlled, not that your drug works, that your factory works. The response is starting. Innovent Biologics built a US-compliant manufacturing line in 2025. Cost, over RMB 2 billion. Junshi Biosciences hired a former FDA site inspection official as VP of Quality. The industry knows. But building GMP compliance takes years, not quarters. The lag between clinical excellence and manufacturing readiness is the single biggest risk to the repricing thesis. While the licensing story accelerates, the domestic market hit its valuation floor and turned. CSI Medical Index PE, roughly 28 to 30 times. The 10th to 21st percentile over the past decade. The bottom. 3 structural turning points converged in a single quarter. Centralized procurement shifted from crushing prices to protecting innovation. Medical insurance added commercial insurance dual listing as a second payment rail. Biomedicine entered the government work report as an emerging pillar industry. Each alone shifts sentiment. All 3 changed the architecture. The pipeline backs it up. First half of 2026, 38 new drug approvals, 11 with novel targets, all domestic. The domestic turn confirms what the offshore deals already signaled. The bottleneck has moved. 5 years ago, the question was whether Chinese biotech could discover. That question is answered. Now the question is whether it can manufacture to a global standard. The value chain upgrade is real, but the gate at the end of the chain is GMP. Mid-year earnings from leading licensors confirm the turn. Bank of America Securities stated it directly. Active licensing deals will drive valuation re-rating. The market is pricing in the pipeline. It has not yet priced in the compliance risk. China's pharma spent 5 years in the valley. Valuations crushed, exits frozen. Now 3 forces converge. The patent cliff forces Big Pharma to buy. The clinical pipeline delivers assets worth buying. The policy architecture turns from cost control to innovation support. The deals tell you the volume. The terms tell you the real story. Upfront payments quadrupled. Chinese companies taking equity, board seats, regional rights retained. The role moved from seller to partner. But Hengrui's 3 CRLs are a warning. Clinical data gets you to the door. Manufacturing compliance gets you through it. The molecules Chinese companies are developing are increasingly becoming assets global pharma cannot ignore. But the factory needs to prove it can make them right every single time.
Position decides returns. In pharma, the next position that decides return isn't the molecule, it's the manufacturing gate. Drop a comment. Which company do you think cracks the GMP gate first? I read everyone. If you found this valuable, subscribe and hit the bell. China Alpha Hunter drops deep dive episodes on the China's investment landscape every week. Next episode, the deals are signed. The terms have changed, but signing is not delivery. We look at what happens after the ink dries. Because in pharma, the hardest gate comes after the deal. See you then.